You know that strange feeling when your phone dies, the Wi-Fi stops, and suddenly the room becomes too quiet to ignore. No videos, no messages, no games, no endless scrolling. Just you, your thoughts, and the uncomfortable question, now what? Modern boredom can feel almost painful, even when nothing dangerous is happening. But imagine a world before entertainment existed at all. No jobs, no schools, no clocks, no rent, no supermarkets, no calendars telling anyone where to be at 9. So what did ancient humans actually do all day? Did they sit around, bored, waiting for civilization to begin? That sounds funny, but the answer is stranger. Their days were not empty. They were filled with invisible survival work. To understand it, we have to leave the modern room, the glowing screen, and the soft chair behind. Go back thousands of years, before offices, before streets, before electricity, when morning arrived as cold light over wild ground. A small group wakes near a dying fire. Their world is not scheduled by alarms. It is scheduled by hunger. It is scheduled by weather, animal tracks, children crying, tools breaking, fire fading, and the quiet pressure of staying alive. Ancient humans did not have careers, but they had tasks. They did not have bosses, but they had consequences. If the fire went out, everyone felt it. If food was missed, everyone became weaker. If danger was ignored, nobody forgot. So maybe the real question is not whether ancient humans had free time. Maybe the question is what free time meant. Because before modern life, almost every small action was connected to the body, the group, the season, and survival. And once you see that, the ancient day stops looking empty. It starts looking like a living machine made of attention. A modern morning begins with a sound from a device. An ancient morning began with light touching the edge of the shelter. Someone opened their eyes and listened. Was the wind different? Were the children warm? Was the fire still breathing under ash? Before breakfast, before movement, before decisions, the first job was simple. Read the world before the world punished you. The camp was checked like a fragile system. Embers, tools, sleeping hides, baskets, water, footprints, and the faces of the group. If the night had been cold, someone needed fuel. If the sky looked heavy, the day's plan might change completely. No one needed a written schedule. The land itself gave instructions if you knew how to read its signs. A broken tool meant work. A missing child meant panic. A strange track near camp meant every eye became sharper. This is the first myth to break. No clocks did not mean no time. It meant time was everywhere. Time was in the sun's angle, the damp grass, the animal migration, the empty stomach, and the fading warmth of coals. For ancient humans, morning was not a routine. Morning was a survival scan performed by eyes, ears, memory, and fear. Even boredom would have difficulty entering a mind that had to ask every sunrise, what changed while we slept? The Wonder Stick Man steps from the shelter, holding a small stone tool, looking tiny beneath a huge prehistoric sky. Around him, the tribe is already moving. Not dramatically, not heroically, just carefully, because careful people survived longer. A child follows footprints in mud. An elder studies the clouds. Someone kneels near the fire, searching for a red glow. The day has not officially begun, because there is no official anything. But survival has already started counting. When modern people think of ancient food, they often imagine one dramatic scene. Hunters chasing giant animals across the open land, spear raised together. But most days were probably less like an action movie and more like a long, careful search for enough calories to keep moving. Food was hidden in roots, berries, nuts, eggs, insects, shellfish, small animals, and places remembered from seasons before. Finding it required memory. which plants were safe, which ones were bitter, poisonous, seasonal, or only edible after careful preparation. A modern grocery store labels everything. The ancient landscape did not. It made the human brain become the label. Foraging was not wandering randomly. It was knowledge carried in bodies, stories, scars, mistakes, and quiet warnings from older people. The group might spread across a woodland edge, scanning leaves, digging roots, checking tracks, and listening for movement in brush. Children watched closely, because childhood was not separate from education. Every berry, stone, and footprint was part of school. And hunting, when it happened, was not simple bravery. It was danger, patience, teamwork, failure, injury, and uncertain reward. A large animal could feed many people, but it could also break bones, waste energy, or lead hunters far from safety. This is why daily life was not just hunting or resting. It was balancing risk against hunger every single day. Archaeologists study stone tools, cut-marked bones, hearths, and ancient camps to understand these patterns, though details need careful verification. The important point is not that ancient humans were busy like office workers. They were busy in a deeper way. Their work was not measured in money. It was measured in warmth, food, safety, trust, and another night survived. So when Wonder Stick Man holds up a tiny root, it is not a snack. It is a decision that mattered. After food came another kind of work, the work modern eyes often miss because it looks too small to matter. Someone sharpened stone flakes, someone scraped hide, someone gathered dry wood, someone carried water, someone repaired a handle or cord. These were chores, but not the boring kind invented by houses. These chores with a thin wall against death. A dull blade slowed butchering. A torn hide lost warmth. Wet fuel weakened fire. A broken spear changed tomorrow's hunt. In modern life, a broken tool is annoying. In prehistory, a broken tool could become hunger, cold, or danger. So, ancient humans spent time maintaining the world around them, because the world did not maintain itself for them. The first technology was not just invention, it was repetition. Making, fixing, teaching, checking, and doing it again. Fire demanded attention like a living thing. It needed fuel, protection from rain, air, patience, and someone who cared. A campfire was warmth, light, cooking, safety, social center, and psychological boundary between the tribe and the dark. That means keeping fire alive was not a side task. It was one of the deepest responsibilities in camp. Wonder Stick Man watches an elder bury embers under ash, not as magic, but as planning for the next morning. Nearby, tribe members work quietly. No one calls it productivity, no one posts about it, but everyone depends on it. The first chores were not about having a clean home. They were about making sure the group still had one. And this changes how we see boredom. Repetition may feel empty today, but repetition once protected the people you loved. A repaired tool, a saved ember, a dry hide. These small things were how an ordinary day resisted disaster. In a modern world, learning often happens in schools, away from food, fire, weather, tools, and real consequences of a dangerous world nearby. But in ancient life, learning was everywhere. A child watched adults closely and slowly turned observation into skill, memory, and belonging. A child throwing stones was not only playing. They were learning aim, weight, distance, timing, and how rough materials behaved. A child copying toolmaking was not just pretending. They were building hand memory, attention, patience, and a place inside the group. Play may have been one of the oldest classrooms, because the safest way to practice danger is through imitation first. The tribe did not need textbooks to teach survival. It had elders, mistakes, stories, and the visible results of bad choices. Elders mattered because memory mattered. They remembered roots, seasons, plants, floods, injuries, animal behavior, and old warnings others had forgotten. In a small group, an old person could be a walking library, carrying information no child could discover safely alone.
This is another myth to break.
Value was not only strength. Sometimes, survival depended on remembering what happened years ago. Wonder Stickman sits near an elder, eyes wide, while the elder points toward distant hills and draws lines in dust. That drawing may not be art for beauty. It may be a map, a warning, a lesson, or a memory. The children gather close, not because class has started, but because the story might help them survive one day. Modern boredom often arrives when action feels disconnected from meaning. Ancient learning was usually tied directly to visible reality. A child learned because the world was sharp, cold, hungry, and full of consequences. Curiosity was not optional. So the ancient day included play, but play was not empty. It was the beginning of competence, belonging, and survival. When the sun went down, the ancient day did not simply end. It changed shape and gathered around firelight. Modern night is filled with screens. Ancient night was filled with faces appearing and disappearing in the glow of flames. People repaired tools, softened hides, shared food, watched children, listened for danger, and spoke about what the day had shown. This may have been when information became story, where animals moved, who helped, who failed, what signs mattered. Gossip, warning, teaching, memory, humor, grief, and imagination could all travel through the same circle of voices. In that sense, the tribe may have been the first social network, and fire was the first glowing screen. But unlike a phone, the fire did not isolate people into private worlds. It pulled their eyes toward one another. Around fire, a group could become more than bodies surviving together. It could become a shared mind, remembering together. Campfire storytelling and night conversation are important ideas in anthropology, though specific claims should be handled carefully and verified. What matters for our story is simple. Darkness did not erase social life. Darkness may have deepened it. Wonder Stickman sits inside the circle, listening as shadows outside the light seem larger than the people themselves. A child asks a question. An elder answers slowly. A hunter adds a detail. Someone laughs, and fear loosens. No one calls this entertainment, education, therapy, news, or religion, but somehow it carries pieces of all of them. If boredom appeared at night, it meant fire, story, danger, memory, and the warm pressure of belonging. And perhaps that is why humans still gather around glowing rectangles, looking for the ancient circle we lost. So did ancient humans get bored? The honest answer is, probably sometimes, but not in the same way we do today. There were rainy days, failed hunts, long waits, winter shelters, injuries, hunger, and moments when almost nothing useful could happen. A person stuck inside a cave while storms moved outside may have known restlessness, frustration, and a wandering mind. But their boredom lived in a world where most actions still pointed towards something obvious, physical, and shared by the group. Gather wood, stay warm. Sharpen stone, cut better. Watch tracks, avoid danger. Share food, protect your place in the group. Modern boredom is stranger. We can have endless stimulation and still feel hollow because stimulation is not the same as meaning. You can scroll for hours, laugh at 10 videos, answer messages, and still feel like nothing actually happened. That may be the ancient brain complaining, not because it hates comfort, but because it evolved inside connected action. The body moved through landscapes. The hands touched materials. The eyes read weather. The voice mattered to real people nearby. The ancient day was hard, dangerous, unfair, and often painful. But many tasks had a visible reason for existing. This is the twist. Maybe boredom is not simply having nothing to do. Maybe it is doing things that feel disconnected. Disconnected from the body. Disconnected from nature. disconnected from community, disconnected from any consequence the nervous system can understand. Wonder Stickman looks from a stone tool to a modern phone, confused by which object seems more powerful and more empty. One tool cuts meat, scrapes hide, saves time, and teaches skill. The other opens infinity and somehow still leaves silence. Ancient humans may have had boredom, but modern life may have invented a new kind. Boredom inside abundance. Now return to the modern room. The phone is charged again. The screen glows. The world comes rushing back. Messages, videos, jobs, deadlines, payments, schedules, notifications, entertainment, choices. More stimulation than any ancient human could imagine. And yet, the old question remains. Why can a life full of things still feel strangely empty sometimes? Maybe because humans were not shaped only for tasks. We were shaped for meaningful tasks inside living relationships. Ancient people did not have careers, but they had roles. Firekeeper, gatherer, watcher, teacher, child, healer, storyteller, friend. Their lives were not romantic or easy. Hunger, cold, injury, fear, and loss were never far away. But the day had a rhythm the body could read. Light, movement, food, tools, faces, fire, darkness, sleep. Modern life gave us comfort, medicine, safety, and freedom that ancient people desperately lacked. We should not pretend otherwise. But comfort also hides an old hunger. The hunger to feel that what we do connects to something real. That may be why making something by hand feels good. Why walking outside clears the mind. Why shared meals matter. Why stories still pull us close. Why a campfire, even today, feels older than language and warmer than electricity. Wonder Stickman stands between two lights, the blue glow of a modern screen and the orange glow of an ancient fire. One light offers endless distraction. The other offers a small circle of faces, danger outside and meaning inside. So what did ancient humans do all day when there were no jobs? They kept life connected, one small task at a time. And maybe that is the lesson. A meaningful day does not begin with work. It begins with belonging to a fire.